Hey book nerds, welcome to my channel, dbooknerd. My name is Denise, and in this video I'm going to be showing you all the books that I have in my physical TBR. I've done this before, but I've read some of the books and I have some new books and just want to share with you what I have, and maybe that'll motivate me to work through my TBR a little faster and stop buying more books. So, okay, I have 3 different locations for my TBRs. I actually have more than that, but I'll talk about that later in a minute. So I first have this, as you see here. This is in my office slash library. This is my TBR shelf here. And then I have, and you're going to see this in the picture, I have my TBR, like in the little table I have, like a little side table I have by my chair in my bedroom. I have a TBR stack there. And then, as you'll see in the other picture, I have my TBR stack in my room. It's like on this little silver shelf. So those are the 3 main areas that I have for TBRs. Now, mind you, I have books in my nightstand and other places, and those are more of my self-help, like my spiritual devotional books and things like that. So I don't really have those listed as my physical TBR, even though they technically are, but they're more books that I'm working through and for my personal use, I guess. But I might start including those in my, reading wrap-ups and things like that, just to share in case anybody else is interested. And plus, they are books, so I need to include them. But these are more of like the nonfiction, fiction books that I just read kind of for, I guess, enjoyment. Not that I don't enjoy my devotionals, but those are kind of for more personal work. Anyway, let me just get to the books that I have. So this is again my shelf in my office, and the first book that I want to show you is Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. Anybody that's followed me for any amount of time knows that this book has been on my shelves for the longest, and I really do want to read it. I just haven't got to it yet. This is one of my Book of the Month books. The next book that I have, and I'm not going to be describing any of them because we'll be here all day. So the next book that I have is Dinner for Vampires, Life on a Cult TV Show. This is by Bethany Joy Lenz. I believe that Bethany is an actress and wanted to share the story of her being in a cult. And I thought this was interesting, another Book of the Month that I picked up. The next book that I have is Riley Sager. This is a thriller. It's called Middle of the Night. And this is another Book of the Month. As a matter of fact, a lot of these on the top shelf are Book of the Month. And I like to keep them together because they have the cute little, I don't know what that's called, the little tab at the top. The next book that I have is Malibu Rising. This is by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I think this is I want to say this is a contemporary fiction or maybe even historical fiction. I'm not sure exactly, but I love this cover. It's so pretty. I think it might is this the one that takes place in the 90s? Taylor Jenkins Reid has several books, and I'm getting mixed up on which one is what, or which one is which. The next book that I have is called Not a Happy Family by Sherry Lapina. This is, I believe, a thriller, and I've had this on my shelf for a long time. This one I've had for an extremely long time. This is called Liberty. It's by Caitlin Greenidge. I believe this is like a contemporary fiction, maybe historical fiction. And I just haven't got to this yet, but I want to say that I've had this, and I see the back of the book. I've had this since 2021. So this was a Book of the Month from 2021. So yeah, got to get to that one. The next book that I have is Things We Do in the Dark by Jennifer Hillier. Definitely a thriller or maybe a mystery. I don't know about anybody else, but sometimes it's just fun to go through all of your books. And it just brings so much joy just to look at them, you know, and just to have them on your shelf. This one is called Society of Lies, and this one is one I'm really looking forward to reading. It's by Lauren Lane Brown, and this is a thriller. I'm sure you've seen me talk about this one. Now this one is a old school, what I want to call OG book in my TBR, Deacon King Kong by James McBride. I've been talking about, I'm going to read this over and over and over and haven't read it yet. This book, let's see, I'm pretty sure this is at least 2021. I got it in 2021, maybe even 2020. So I've got to get to this book. I've heard James McBride, James McBride is an amazing author. The next book that I have is called Famous Last Words by Jillian McAllister. And I just talked about this one because it was my February Book of the Month pick. Another February of this year Book of the Month pick that I have is Good Dirt by Charmaine Wilkerson. And when I talked about this on my video, when I was doing my unboxing, I got a lot of good feedback about Black Cake and Charmaine Wilkerson's writing, so that is encouraging. Now this book is F. Scott Fitzgerald, The Great Gatsby and Other Classic Works. I've read The Great Gatsby, and that's really what I bought it for. So technically, I don't know if I want to call it a TBR, but you see it's thick. That book was not even long. So there's a lot of other stories to read. So maybe one day when I'm feeling like reading these type of classics, I'll get to some of the other books. Let's see which other ones they have. This book is absolutely beautiful. We have gold sprayed edges. We have a gold ribbon. And then this is all pretty. Probably one of the main reasons that I got it, other than wanting to read The Great Gatsby. So, love this book. Love the aesthetics of this book, as well as I like the story, The Great Gatsby. This is a book I've had for too long. It's called A Promised Land by President Barack Obama. And of course, this is what, like a memoir or... yeah, memoir, I could say it. This is a book that I have by Connie Briscoe, You Never Know. That's what it's called. Let's see. I want to say this is a thriller or something like that. Yeah, it's a thriller. I just read a little bit of the back. It's a suspense. It says domestic suspense. So... yeah, another great author. And Connie Briscoe goes back. Like, I've read books by her way back in the day, probably like in the early 2000s or the 90s. So a very well-established Black author. Of course, you got to have some Terry McMillan on your TBR. And it's called I Almost Forgot About You. It's like I just keep digging and there's more books. This book, if I can get it, is it's by Chris Matthews, and it's about Bobby Kennedy. It says Bobby Kennedy, A Racing Spirit. For some reason, oh here, I can pull it off now. So I'm just interested in the Kennedys, and so I was, curious to read about Bobby Kennedy. So of course, this is a nonfiction book. I guess I would call this a historical book. So those are those from the top shelf. Okay, and so on the second shelf I have some more classics. This is To Kill a Mockingbird. To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. You see it's still in the plastic. This was an aesthetic buy. I have wanted to read this book for years. I might have even read it in high school or something and just don't remember. But I definitely wanted this copy just because it is so beautiful. Again, it's still in the plastic. There's gold sprayed edges. Sometimes you just have to have some pretty books on the shelf. And this is a book by Don Lemon, and it's a nonfiction book. It's called This Is the Fire. small too, so this should be something that I can get through pretty quickly. And then I have this book, and I need to get to this one. It's called One of Our Kind. This is by Nicola Yoon, who I found her books, the book that I've read before, one of her books I've read before, to just be awesome. And so I'm looking forward to this one. This one's a little bit different because it is a thriller. And it says Get Out Meets the Stepford Wives. I know I've talked about this book before. Cool cover. It's large print. I don't know if I meant to get that, but hey, I'm at that point where I don't mind some large print. Then I have this book. I actually won this book. During the pandemic, there were like a lot of book retreats, I guess, online. And so this particular author was online and on one of the retreats and was giving away some books. And this is by Mary Monroe. It's called Across the Way. I'm not sure what genre of book this is. I want to think that it is a contemporary fiction. I'm not sure though. It's kind of exciting when you have all these books and then you don't even remember what type of book they are. So it just surprises you. It surprises you when you read them. Then I have Bitter and Sweet by Rhonda McKnight. Looking forward to this. Definitely a contemporary fiction, I would believe. It does have the present and the past, so maybe, I don't think it's historical fiction though. But I think it's contemporary fiction with a little bit of faith-based or inspirational-based content in it. Now these are my set of just like pretty books. I'm going to take them all out at the same time so that I can kind of just show you how pretty they are together. These are some newer ones that I purchased. These were some anticipated reads from last year. And I bought them with my birthday money. So you've already seen all of these. But this one is The Neighbor Favor by Christina Forrest. Cute romance. The next one is Christina Forrest again. And this is called The Partner Plot. I love these covers. These covers just remind me of happiness, light, times, and like candy or something like that. So I love them. This one, The Kiss Countdown by Etta Easton. Another pretty cover. Then this book is by Maya Ariel. It's called When I Think of You, another romance. All of these last few are romances. So beautiful cover. There's a nice sunset and some palm trees. If you want, sometimes I look at sunsets and palm trees. Like if I'm at the doctor's office, I'll get out my phone while I'm waiting and just like find pictures of palm trees and sunsets. And it just brings me some peace. So. Then I have Wicked by Gregory Maguire. And I had talked so much about how excited I was to get it and how much I want to read it. I'm starting to have some other thoughts. I've been hearing just some weird things about it, just hearing that's really dark. I saw the movie and I know that the movie is different. So the movie's more of a musical or musical and based on the musical play. This, however, is not that. I don't know. I will start reading this, but this is going to be one where I'm not going to torture myself. If I don't like it, I'm going to DNF it. So just having some mixed thoughts about it. We'll see. I don't regret buying it though. Then I have this book by Stacey Abrams. It's called Rules of Engagement. This book was given to me by a friend, sister in Christ. She wasn't feeling the book, so it's like, I'll take it. And she sent it to me. She's from Texas, and I thank her for that. Then we have a memoir by Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. Lovely one. I believe, did I get this one for Christmas? I think I got this one for Christmas, and so I did ask for it, and so happy to get that. Next, I have John Grisham, Camino Ghosts. I read the first two in the series, and looking forward to this one. And I always love the covers because they are in, I believe, Florida, and so you just always have this beautiful scenery. Even when you're reading the book, the scenery is just beautiful, and he does a great job of describing that, as well as the mystery, the thriller that's involved in the book. Next, I have Chasing the Boogeyman, and when I'm not scared, I will read this. Luckily, it's getting close to spring, so the days are longer. It's not dark all early. This is by Richard Chismar. This is a book by our actual friend, and she is from Jamaica. It's called As We Would Say Back Home. Her name is Grace Christie. I need to read this. It's about some fun sayings that she has and are passed down in her family and her culture. Fun fact about me, I love Jamaican food. So I'm pretty sure just reading these, the sayings from Jamaica will be, just awesome, just to learn more about the culture other than just the food and how great like Grace is. This is Five Nights at Freddy's, The Silver Eyes. This book I actually found when we moved here. So like I had packed up all my books, and when I was organizing my books, I realized, hey, I have this book and I haven't read it. I did watch the movie. The movie was okay. I'm hoping the book is better, which usually books are. So. Then on the last shelf, I have, mostly they're just my books, like books I've written, and I have extras to sell. But I do have a few Stephen King books. Again, these were gifted to me by a great friend. And this one is called Stephen King's Desperation. I love the cover. I love it. There's so much going on in this cover. I mean, just as only Stephen King could do. Just a whole bunch of madness and craziness and scariness. And then this is Stephen King as Richard Bachman, and it's called The Regulators. Again, you have a lot of stuff going on. I think these are some type of special editions that she got me because these covers are just everything. So I don't know if all the covers are normally like this. So I thank her for that. And then I have Stephen King Fairy Tale. So I think this is more of a fantasy written by Stephen King that I was dying to have and just haven't read it yet. When you read Stephen King, you got to get ready to commit because they are big and thick. And just because I've been having some challenges with commitment, at this point, I haven't been starting back, really getting on my reading groove with the super thick books, but I do plan on reading these. I think I'm going to pick at least one of them for spring and summer. So one for the spring, one for the summer. And that is it for this shelf. So come join me. I'm going to go downstairs into my bedroom and then have you take a look at the rest of the books that I have. Okay, so now I'm in my bedroom, and I just brought my one shelf over by my chair. Usually it's on another side of my room. So I'm going to go through the shelf first, and then I'll go through the little bit that's on my table. And I don't know if you can really see the table, but it's right there. I'm kind of blocking it. So first we have The Queen of Sugar Hill. You've heard a lot about this. This is one that I wanted to read during February. Sorry, that's a little hard to see, focus. But this is The Queen of Sugar Hill by Rashonda Tate. This is a historical fiction. We have Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson. So now I have Black Cake and Good Dirt. Her titles are so unique to read. Then we have a book by Lisa Jewell, None of This Is True. I believe this is a thriller, suspense, probably one I've had for a while. I think it looks like I've had this since 2023. And then I have this book by Jackie Hill Perry. It's called Upon Waking. So this is a Christian book. and it's more of a, I don't know if I want to call it self-help, but inspirational, encouragement, something like that. I think I've showed you this book before, and I probably need to just go ahead and throw this in my self-help or work type books that, I'm not really really trying to read. But this is called You Are the Team by Michael G. Rogers, and simple ways teammates can go from good to great. And this is probably a good book for me to read so that I can, learn to be a better teammate and all of that. And then this is Colleen Hoover, November. There's so much controversy with Colleen Hoover. I'm not super excited anymore about reading one of her books, but I'm going to try it because I like to make my own decisions on books that I read. Then the next here I have the Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. This book is definitely a thriller, suspense, mystery, something like that. Had this one for a while. Looks like it's been since 2022. It's now 2025, so look at me. Hey, but this wasn't the oldest. Then I have The Writing Retreat, one that I've been really looking forward to reading. This is a thriller, and this is by Julia Bartz. Then I have The Kindest Lie. This one is really old. So this one is from 2021, and I'm not even sure what it says. It's a novel. I'm thinking it's contemporary fiction. I don't know. But I still want to read it. I bought it for a reason, so I want to read it. And then I have this book by Mia Heintzelman, and this is called Trivial. Oh no, this is not Trivial. Trivialized Pursuit. And I read a couple of the others in the series. As a matter of fact, I read like the first one and then the third one. I read the third one because it was a Christmas book and I wanted to read it for Christmas, in Christmas of 2023. And so now I have this middle one, which I know a lot what's going to happen in this one because I read the third one, but I'm still going to read it. Her books are pretty light and humorous, and this is a romance. I have this small little, what's called a mass market paperback. It's called Fatal Identity by Jodi Bailey. It is a love-inspired suspense, so it's a romance, it is a Christian, it is a suspense. So you have all three different things going on in this book. And so I usually want to, is this one that's kind of around Christmas time too? I'm not sure. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to reading that one. Then on my bottom shelf, or bottom tier, I have Hello Beautiful by Anne Napolitano. I wanted to read this book because I think it was a Reese or Oprah pick, and it just sounded really interesting. I'm thinking this one it's literary fiction. Then I have this book by Emma Gray called The Last Love Note. It just seemed like a nice romance that I wanted to read. Kind of a cover by too. It just looks relaxing and like something that I would enjoy. We will see. I might have to do an unhaul because some of these books I'm going through now and I'm like, you know what, I have so many. Am I really trying to read all these books? Then I have What Lies Ahead in the Woods. This is by Kate Alice Marshall. That looks spooky. I think I've had this one a while too. And this is definitely probably a thriller suspense. I have Concrete Rose. This is by Angie Thomas. I really went through an Angie Thomas reading stage in my life and really like her books. I just haven't read this one yet. I don't know why, but this would be, what would this be considered? What genre? Fiction, contemporary fiction. And so it's based on, I believe this is a prequel to The Hate You Give. And so we're looking more at the main character in The Hate You Give, I think her dad's kind of life. And then finally I have The Crime Beat, and this is episode 1, New York by A.C. Fuller. A.C. Fuller, I've read one of his books under D.D. Black. It was awesome. I need to get to this one. I think this one is, it's not in the same series, of course, but it is older than the other book, I believe. And I really enjoyed that book, so I want to read more of his. Okay, so those are all the books that I have on my TBR shelf. I'm just going to show you this really quick. This is on my little, oh no, that's not it. I'm sorry, but I just wanted to show you this on my shelf. It's a bookmark that looks like the spine of a book. I mean, not a bookmark, a fan. And it looks like the spine of a book, and then you open it, it's like book pages. It's too cute for me to use to cool off. It's for decoration. Okay, so then I have a few books here on my table. One is called The Most Wonderful Time, and it's by Jamie Allen. This was a book that I was going to try to read at Christmas time. Just didn't get in that Christmas spirit to read a lot of books and a lot of Christmas books, but I did. I think I read one or two, but this is one, so I'm looking forward to reading this one this year. Then I have this one. It's called The Christmas Catch. It's by Tony Shiloh. It's a romance. The Most Wonderful Time of the Year was also, is also a romance. Then I have The Thing About Home. This is by Rhonda McKnight, a nice contemporary fiction. I believe The Thing About Home and then the other book that I showed you earlier by Rhonda McKnight are both based in South Carolina, and they just seem like to have a good hometown feel, so I'm looking forward to that. Then we have S.A. Cosby. This is a thriller. It is called All the Sinners Bleed. Again, I was going to try to read this one this month in February. I don't think I'm going to get to this one, or I might not be able to get to Queen of Sugar Hill. So one of those will get cut. But I'm looking forward to reading this because I hear just this author is amazing, and this story is riveting and thrilling and all the things that you want in a thriller. Then you all know that I got this book. Did I get this for my last birthday book haul in 2023, I think? This is Tupac and Tupac Shakur, the authorized biography by Stacey Robinson. Need to get to that. Then I have A Talent for Murder. This is by Peter Swanson. I don't remember why I wanted to buy this book, but hey, it must have sounded good at the time, and it is a thriller. It says no murder is by the book, and so we'll see what that is about. Then First Light Wins. This was all the rave for a bit, and this is a book of the month that I got last year. It's by Ashley Elston, and I've heard people like this book, so I'm excited about reading this one. And then there's Listen for the Lie. This book is by Amy Tintera. I think it's a thriller or suspense or something like that. And it caught my interest before, so I'm sure that I'm interested in reading it. It just keeps getting put on the back burner. So now these are all the books that I have on my TBR, not including devotionals and things like that for my more personal growth type of books. And I know down here I have 22. I forgot to count how many I had upstairs, so I'll have that number here on the screen, and then I'll have that total number, so the total amount of books. So just in my bedroom alone, I have 22 to-be-read books. That's not too bad. I know some people that have 100, 200, what have you. And then upstairs, I don't remember, or I didn't count what I had, but I'll make sure I get that to you. And yeah, let me know what's on your TBR shelf. Do you have any of the same books that I have? Have you read some of the books that I have on my TBR shelf and you want to tell me? Denise, hurry up and get to those. They're really good. You'll enjoy it. Let me know. And I hope you all just have a great day. Be blessed and be book nerdy. Oh, and subscribe, like, share, hit notifications. Thank you.